Welcome back. Chude, when the Nigerian Senate recently passed a bill against gay marriage, you wrote a very scathing article against what they did. You, in fact, described the legislation as something that is legalizing homophobia. Why?
Because it was. Because the responsibility of government sometimes is to move ahead of its people and drag them along. That is the reason why people surrender their right to self-governance to representatives. They expect representatives to be more informed, to be more aware, to be more circumspect. Now, in running away with a cultural anachronism, so to speak, and actually a cultural lie, because culture isn't a collection of stereotypes. Culture is the way people have lived, and over time, people who have traced the histories. I mean, there's an article on whynigeria.com by Nathan John called "The Nigerian Guide to Homophobia," tracing that Nigeria has a rich and complex history with homosexuality in many of our cultures, from the southeast to the north.
Isn't it the choice or the work of government to also provide legislation in line with the aspirations of their people? And if the large majority of Nigerians feel that homosexuality is not something they can endorse, isn't the Senate right to pass this kind of legislation?
No, because the Senate didn't ask the people of Nigeria for their opinion before engaging the petroleum industry bill. They didn't ask the people of Nigeria for their opinion before increasing their salaries. They don't, the nature, you know, it's when the legislators across the world cop out that they begin to blame the public. We know that it's the job of a legislature to move ahead of its people and then pull them along sometimes.
Why do you think the Nigerian Senate has chosen to do this at this time?
It's an easy thing. It's an easy play. I mean, you are right. I'm not one of those who will erroneously say that homophobia is alive and well in Nigeria. People, and understandably, people don't have an understanding of sexual diversity. And people who are struggling with security and food and all of that do not have the time to begin to think about complex things that don't come naturally to us, things that we don't see every day. So, you know, so we make a conclusion about homophobia, about homosexuality, and say, look, homosexuality bad, heterosexuality good. That's how we do it, because it's not our job on a daily basis to engage complexity. The average citizen across the world surrenders his right to self-governance in a democracy because he cannot deal with complexity on a daily basis.
Why is it important for societies such as ours to begin to grapple with these particular issues and to perhaps begin to take a more nuanced view of these issues?
Because once a people's rights and existence begins to be subjugated for no good reason, it becomes society's duty to protect its minority. So democracy is the will of the majority, but democracy should protect the minority. We all learned that when we're doing government in secondary school. We all learned that for those who studied law in university. Democracy is not just about the will of the majority. It's also about protecting the minority, because there's an understanding that every human being has the right to live a rich life free of harassment and subjugation, whether that person is in the majority or in the minority.
There are those who believe allowing gay people the same rights, or to enjoy the same rights as heterosexual people, in many ways undermines our fabric as a society and would encourage that sort of behavior and is likely to see it on the increase. So there's a fear there.
But it's not a disease. When people say that, and like, so if it were a disease, if it were Ebola, yes, I would acknowledge that we need to stop the spread of Ebola. But as we've learned from everybody, from the president of Ireland to the CEO of Apple, gay rights are human rights. Gay people are people. There is no scientific, social, moral, historical precedent or evidence that homosexuality damages the fabric of any society. In fact, the conclusion that sexuality rights would diminish a society is unfounded. It is based solely on a fear of things we don't understand.
Is homosexuality normal in your view?
I don't know that it's normal, and I know that it exists. You know, I don't know that. You know, so there's a debate somewhere about, so what if it didn't come naturally? Well, makeup didn't come naturally. Well, certain foods don't come naturally. Certain animals are genetically modified. It doesn't, even if it were a choice, even if people chose to be gay, it wouldn't change what I think about it. That if a person chooses to live a particular life simply because it is a minority existence doesn't mean that it diminishes my humanity. So
are you gay?
No.
I'm sure you've heard that asked of you a few times.
Plenty times, and I laugh the same way, and I laugh uncomfortably because I feel like saying no almost makes it feel like I'm ashamed of it. And I'm not ashamed of any of my friends or anybody who is gay. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't think it's something to be ashamed of. So why I laugh uncomfortably is because I always feel like I'm betraying what I believe in when I say no so firmly.
So are you in a relationship? Do you have a girlfriend?
Yes, I do.
You've kept it very quiet, huh?
Actually, not really. I just don't feel like people care either which way. You know what I mean? Random people. I was at an event yesterday, and a mentor of mine, Adeso Onyenokwe, was saying, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? But apart from my aunties, people around the world care.
Do you
more.
believe in marriage?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I believe the marriage is, I believe the marriage is one of the most important institutions because it goes to the core of who we are as human beings. Human beings need people. And marriage is the ultimate expression of that.
Even if it is a man marrying a man?
Oh, of course. Look, so I know that people are watching and I will be appalled with the ease with which I will accept that, you know. And I acknowledge why people will be uneasy, but then they are not like me. I have gay friends, I have gay married friends across the world, you know. If you do international work if you work outside the country like I do, especially in the West, you know, you have people who have lived normal lives. You have grandfathers who have been gay for decades, you know, in parts of, so you understand how normalized it is in many communities. And so for me, I don't have any sense of wonder or any sense of new discovery about it. I believe that, you know, people, a man and a man, a woman and a woman, a man and a woman, I believe that people should be respected. Their rights to be different should be respected.
Let us take a break. When we return, we speak about journalism, the role it plays in nation building, and if one can be a credible journalist while also working in public relations. Don't go away.